Hello my fellow horror fans, welcome back to my channel. Today we are diving into the eerie depths of one of the most iconic horror films ever made, 1973's The Exorcist. Now, I am your host, Craig. Now let's get possessed by this spine-chilling classic. Released in 1973 and directed by William Friedkin, The Exorcist shocked audience to their core. Now it's based on William Peter Blatty's novel, and the film follows the demonic possession of a young girl named Regan. Now remember, this film came out in 1973, so this was way before the likes of Halloween and A Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. This really was a unique movie for its time. The performances, practical effects and unsettling atmosphere set a new standard for horror, and still to this very day, The Exorcist remains as one of the scariest, if not the scariest film ever made. Regan, played by the amazing Linda Blair, starts exhibiting bizarre behaviour. Things like, peeing on the floor during a party and doing awful things with a crucifix. Regan's mother, played by Ellen Burstyn, seeks help from two priests, Father Karras and the seasoned exorcist Father Marin. Now the battle between good and evil unfolds within the walls of Regan's home. A very young Linda Blair masterfully transforms from innocence to full-blown possession. At the beginning we see a sweet, playful young girl whose life takes a terrifying turn. As the demonic influence takes hold, Regan's transformation is chilling. Her wide-eyed innocence gives way to contorted expressions, complete guttural voices, and unnatural movements. They really put Linda Blair through her paces in this film. I mean, she endured hours of makeup and prosthetics to depict Regan's deteriorating appearance on screen. Now, her commitment to embodying the possessed character is evident in every scene in this movie, whether if it's the infamous head spinning sequence or that very scary spider walk down the stairs. She sells the horror convincingly. In fact, everyone in this movie is fantastic. They're all convincing, maybe a little bit too convincing. And the reason why I say that is because Linda Blair and Ellen Burstyn both went through quite a lot during filming. The most famous story is the scene where Ellen's character is thrown back after a possessed Regan smacks her in the face, and when Ellen hits her back very hard against the ground, she actually suffered a massive injury to her back. So what did the director do? He kept it in the movie. Yes, those horrifying screams that you hear from Ellen are her actual screams because she has just been very badly injured. See what I mean about things looking a little bit too convincing? I'm pretty sure that because of this film, she has had back issues ever since for the rest of her life. Now, the impact of The Exorcist cannot be overstated. It terrified audience around the world. It sparked debates about faith and evil, and even led to real-life exorcism interests. Its legacy endures through countless references in pop culture. Some people who went to the theatre to watch The Exorcist, they physically fainted, some of these people. Some of them physically threw up. I mean, some people ran out of the theatre shaking and crying. And do you know what, guys? A lot of the original footage of these people fainting is actually on YouTube for you all to see. This isn't some urban legend just to try and get more bums on seats. This actually happened. It really affected a lot of people around the world during its release back in 1973. Now, with Friedkin's direction and Owen Roizman's cinematography, it creates an oppressive atmosphere. The use of practical effects like Regan's head spinning still sends shivers down my spine. And do you know what, guys? It's actually really hard for me to choose what was the scariest moment when I was watching The Exorcist. Now, I definitely do think the one that tops it for me is the scene where Regan's mum comes running upstairs into the bedroom after hearing some horrible screams, and Regan is there masturbating herself with a crucifix, and then Regan, or should I say a possessed Regan, ends up grabbing her mum by the head, and Regan then pushes the mother's head to her downstairs area, telling her mother to lick her. Then comes the smack around the face and the mum goes flying with the real screams, and then it's the like head turn and the demonic voice that comes out of her. It is proper disturbing, and it's quite sick and twisted for what you witness in that scene. It is shocking watching it in 2024. I can only imagine what was going on in the theatres in 1973. I would have loved to have been there. But there are so many moments in this film that you can choose that are scary, and I mean, it is literally pick and mix. Even the simple moments where Father Karras has a nightmare about his mother who has recently passed away. To me, it is proper haunting, it's creepy. I don't know, it always freaks me out, his nightmare. And also, the amount of times I go back and rewatch The Exorcist, I quite often tend to pick up and notice something new, something that I've never seen before, which is just extraordinary because this film is 51 years old at the time of me making today's video. It's just incredible. Now, in an era that we all currently live in, where basically a lot of horror movies are filled with jump scares, The Exorcist stands tall as a slow-burning nightmare. It doesn't rely on jump scares, it's just a genuinely terrifying movie with a terrifying story filmed to perfection. Will we ever get another horror movie experience quite like this? Well, do you know what, guys? We live in new times now. Everything is a lot more graphic and a lot more gorier. We are getting more and more desensitized. I mean, the exorcism stories, they've all been done to death, but none of them have ever been quite as good or even come close to the original Exorcist. But I would like to think that one day there will be a horror movie that might just top The Exorcist in terms of the worldwide reaction. I mean, we live in hope. I am gonna give The Exorcist the highest score I can possibly give it. That is a 10 out of 10. It is a perfect horror film that still scares the crap out of people to this very day. Even when you finish watching it, you always feel uneasy. If you haven't seen The Exorcist yet, then grab your crucifix and prepare for an unsettling experience. I would actually love to erase my memory of, of The Exorcist and actually sit down and watch it for the very first time all over again, just to relive that experience. But anyway, guys, that is a wrap of my review on The Exorcist today. If you did enjoy this video, then please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments box below. And don't forget, because it's Halloween month, my trailer reaction to The Exorcist will be up very, very shortly. Keep your eye out. Until next time, guys, stay spooky.